Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm excited today to be making a card with the Catherine Pooler Build a Snowman stamp set. And I have some photos going across here of the finished card, but don't worry, you'll see this as my video is played and I'll show you how it all comes together. I'm showing you here a picture of all of the stamps that are included in this ginormous stamp set. You've got two different snowman bodies, all kinds of really cute accessories for your snowmen. You've got sentiments and snowballs and snowflakes, super cute sign. And I'm showing you this because when my video starts, it seems a little dark and you really can't get a very good look at the stamp set. And I wanted to make sure you got a chance to see just how many stamps are included in this set. Everything you need to build a perfect winter scene. Let's begin. First, I want to do a shout out to the FSC Foiling Snobs Club on Facebook. I'm part of the design team and administrator group for that Facebook group, and we recently did a competition of sorts where several of us faced off against each other using this stamp set. We had 1 hour and about 15 minutes, give or take, to come up with a really cool looking card. The card that I came up with, I'll show you at the end. I'll make sure I put a picture of it up so you can get an idea of what I created my first time around. And this is my second time making a card with this stamp set. It was a lot of fun being part of the Stamp Wars Showdown, the first that we've ever held before. And as a result, we've got about 6 different stamp manufacturer companies that are interested in sponsoring us and having more of those. So I will put a link below in my description box to that video so you can check it out. It was done on YouTube Live using Zoom. There were 3 of us. And I will also give you links to other people that are in my group in case you wanted to check out the cards that they made with this stamp set. Ryan over at Glitter Grunge Greeting made a bunch of cards with this stamp set. His video is already up. And then, of course, in the future, there'll be another one up on Nancy's YouTube where she and her daughter are going to make a card together. So that'll be a lot of fun to see. And I'm just getting ready to create my scene. I am doing a shaker card, and my goal is to keep my background flat. I don't want any objects with dimension here on my base panel. I've gotten myself into a little bit of trouble in the past when I've done that with shaker cards. I've made plenty of shaker cards before, and that's great. It looks really cool, but sometimes your seed beads or glitter or sequins get hung up on what's inside the window. So I prefer for now on to keep my card panel, which is basically the background, completely flat, one dimensional. And so I'm just figuring out here where I'm going to put everything. I have a piece of very light blue cardstock that I'm stamping on. And of course, I'm going to be using Catherine Pooler inks to stamp with. I'm going to speed things up a little bit in the interest of time. And the fact that I can be pretty slow when I'm creating a card, especially while on video, I want it to get right the first time. When we did our Stamp Wars, I was the first one done, so I really was booking it that night. I'm not saying that my card was the best, but I will say I was the first one done. It was fun because after we all took pictures of our cards, we put those cards up on our Facebook group and people had the opportunity to vote for which one they liked the best. And Ryan, his won by a landslide. It was no contest. Nancy created a really pretty one layer simple card using slimline dimensions, and I created an A2 card with my Scan and Cut. I cut out a lot of the elements of the snowman using my Scan and Cut, which I'm going to do again tonight. I mean, for this video. I used Catherine Pooler's black ink and her brown ink to create my sentiment and the sign. So the brown ink is called icing on the cake. Black ink is called midnight, and the sentiment says, in the meadow we can build a snowman. I forgot to mention, which is extremely important to mention, that during our showdown, Catherine Pooler came and watched and commented as we were creating, and she interacted with our audience, people that were there watching, and so that was super cool of her. And she offered to give away a free set of the mini inks in the new spa collection Paradise Found. And she also provided a coupon code. So I will have that coupon code listed below in my description box, but it's only good for a limited time. So if you're watching this in the future, make sure you check the date on that coupon code. It is only good for a limited time. But I mean, what a class act to not only come and watch us and cheer us on, but also to give away a prize and also to give a coupon code. And, we interact with a lot of different stamp companies, out there in the world today. But I would really strongly encourage you to check out Catherine Pooler Stamp Company. I will have a link below in my description box to the site so that you can see all of the quality products that are available, including stencils and dies. And I'm giving away a prize with this video of a stencil and a die from Catherine Pooler. So in order to be qualified for that prize, I'm going to tell you a little bit later in my video what I would ask you to say in your comment box below. And that's going to help me as I do a raffle to pick one lucky winner to win a Catherine Pooler stencil and die. Okay, I used 3 different colors of blue ink for those snowflakes. Something Borrowed for the large snowflake, Daydream for the medium-sized snowflake, and It's a Boy for the small snowflake. Going in again with the black ink, Midnight, which is an archival ink. It will stain your stamps, but that doesn't bother me because a lot of times with the photopolymer stamps that happens. Anyway, the top hat I'm also stamping with Midnight. I love that you get such a great impression the first time you stamp. This is the Something Borrowed color, and you stamp it and it's done. You don't have to worry about, just because the pads are so juicy, you don't have to worry about it missing in spots or not stamping solidly. That's why I love these inks so much. Okay, it looks like I'm going to be stamping, yes, a scarf, and that is Rockin' Red. Nice, bright foundational red. I think it's part of the foundations set. And I have the mini inks. I'm using the orange twist for the carrot nose. The noses, each snowman has their own nose. The mini inks I purchased through Not Too Shabby, except for one set. There was one set that I purchased elsewhere. I am a member of the Not Too Shabby design team, and I had affiliate links, And I will have a coupon code for you for Not Too Shabby. If you're interested in checking out the Catherine Pooler inks that are available through Not Too Shabby, I would welcome you to do so. I will have it linked below and you can check that out. And I'm just stamping another mitten set here. These mittens are so cute. I love them. And I stamped them in green. I just realized I stamped a bunch of left-handed mittens, but only one right-handed mitten. So watch out for that when you go to stamp yours. I also stamped off camera several other accessories like the scarf and the bow tie and another set of mittens in orange, but I didn't show myself stamping them here. I wanted to move on with the video because in the interest of making it too long, I'm going to show you how I created the shaker component. So I have my base and I'm taking my foam tape and I'm adhering my foam tape to the base. You can also do it a different way. There's so many ways that you can do it. You can go ahead and adhere it to the frame, but I wanted to do it this way. I saw somebody else do it this way and it looked like it made a lot of sense. I thought I'd give it a try. And it's just almost exactly the same no matter which way you do it. I don't think that there's one method over the other. I think they're just both equal. Um, my tape is really sticky, so my biggest challenge is trying to get the backing off of the foam tape. But otherwise, I don't have any trouble getting my tape lined up right. You want it to be snug and not have any gaps from piece to piece, because if you do, then the glitter or sequins or seed beads are going to escape, and you don't want that to happen. So my advice is, however you do it, make sure you put your end to end very close together and do not allow any space so that the pieces don't fly out. Okay, I'm going to speed things up even quicker here. When I go to put the shaker bits inside of mine, I definitely like seed beads. I think they sound great. Sequins is a must, and sometimes glitter, but not too much glitter. So it's just, you don't want to overfill it. You don't want to put so much stuff inside your well that things get hung up or um, obscure. I don't want the snow to obscure the sign or the sentiment. That's my biggest concern. Anytime I'm making a shaker card, I want to make sure that you can look through it, you can see the back, you can see the sentiment, and everything is clear, even with the shaker bits and all those components rolling around in there. I tried to miter my corners. I don't always do it perfectly each time, but going at an angle like that definitely helps keep things from slipping out. Okay, moving on to the next section, we're going to put our acetate on top of our foam. And so as the acetate that I have is just overhead transparency film. If you don't have transparency film, don't worry about it. You could just use acetate from a stamp set that you received. When you have an extra piece of acetate, save it. You could use it next time for your shaker cards. This is my collection of sequins, seed beads, all kinds of glittery, fun pretties. And I'm going to fast forward and then you'll see what I actually end up selecting for my inside of this card that looks like snow. A lot of times I'll get my seed beads from the jewelry department where you can buy beads at the big box stores, and I'll use a coupon because they're a little bit pricey, but when you have a coupon, that makes it much more cost effective. These are seed beads. They're real tiny. They're translucent, and I have some iridescent sequins that I'm using. I also have some glitter that's real sparkly, very much looks like snow. And then Catherine Pooler has a whole line of sequins. I don't have that many yet, but I do have this. I have two sets. This one's called Mission. And so what I did was I went in and I picked out some of the iridescent slash translucent sequins and put those in the well with the rest of the shaker bits. I thought that was great that I could add those. Now that I've added that, I'm just cleaning up the mess, making sure I gather up all those little bits and pieces of sequins and put them back in the container. Got my piece of acetate transparency. Going to use some powder because one of the things with shaker cards, there's a lot of static on these transparency or acetate sheets. So using a little bit of your powder tool really does help keep things from sticking and clinging to that film. It's still going to have a little bit that sticks to it. Oh, here I'm adding a little bit more glitter, it looks like. Okay, now I just put my transparency right smack down on top of that foam tape. And then I'm going in with some double-sided tape on top of the transparency acetate because on top of this will go my frame. And one of the things that I do sometimes is I'll use my double-sided tape and almost like tape my base down so that when I go to put that frame on top, that base isn't going anywhere. It's sticking to my craft mat. By the way, this is my alt new craft mat. I really like it because of the grid. Inside the grid, you'll see that it has a grid where I can measure and line up my A2 size cards, which is really important to me so that I can keep things straight and not have things like as sentiments or just even whenever you put your panel onto your card base, you don't want it going downhill or uphill. I just release it. Taking it off fast forward now, just going the normal pace here, and I'm going to shake it so that you can see how nice it looks when it's shaking. And I know you can't hear it because I am doing a voiceover, but it sounds really good. The seed beads, I think, really are what make it sound so great. I'm going to give it a couple more shakes before I lay it down and move on to the next thing. I cut all of my components and image out with my brother's scan and cut. Now I'm just going to be figuring out where to put everything and gluing pieces down. And even though I wasn't able to put or did not want to put the dimensional components on the inside, you can see that I'm just popping them right on the outside of the card, and it actually looks pretty cute putting them on the outside. So we've got a little pile of snowballs and a little snow bucket that says snowballs 5 cents. And we're just going to layer those in the bottom left corner. And then the first snowman, he's going to be wearing an adorable red hat. And before I do this, though, I remember I need to stamp their faces on them. So Build a Snowman has cute little eyes and a smiley face. There's actually two different smiles in this set. So I use a different smile on each snowman. There's even eyebrows. So it's almost like playing with paper dolls. It's so much fun. Again, I'm using the Midnight ink. Just using a stamp positioning tool, it's easy to line it up. Cleaning my stamps off, putting them back away, and going to the next snowman with the smiley face. Yeah, he's cute. Super cute. There's also buttons that you can stamp that look like real buttons. Super cute. There's a little piece of coal that you could use for the nose if you don't want to use the carrots, but I used carrots on both. Sorry, my head was in the frame because I was putting eyebrows on Little Snowman. And Little Snowman is made up of two snow body parts, and he's going to be getting the purple scarf. He's got the red hat, and then the taller snowman that has three different body parts is going to have the red scarf. And this is when I realized how many left-handed mittens that I have in green. So I thought, let's use the orange instead. I'm just using art glitter glue to glue the hat and the scarves and the hands and the gloves. And the carrot nose, which is so cute. This is just a Marvy jewel picker tool. So it just helps me pick up these small pieces and plop them down on the surface without making too much of a mess. Another thing that helps is a pair of tweezers, craft tweezers. Definitely helps when you're gluing these little pieces together. While I'm putting all the pieces together of my snowman, I want to ask you if you are interested in being eligible to win the prize from my channel, also to be eligible to win the prize of the ink from Catherine Puller that she donated to me as a prize. You need to comment on all three videos, and you need to give all three videos a thumbs up, and you need to subscribe to all three channels. So that's why it's really important to check out the description box below so that you can find the links to the original video and to Ryan's video, and then also here you are at my video. So while you're here, make sure you leave a comment letting me know what is your favorite Christmas carol or wintertime song. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. I wanted to show you that one of the products that we used in our stamp showdown was a snow pen. And this is basically a puffy paint that is in a pen format. So I'm just demonstrating here how it all works. And you see that I'm pressing down. You don't normally have to do that so many times, but this one is about out of ink. So I'm shaking it up a little bit and I'm trying to get a little bit of what's left in the barrel out onto my snowflake. Again, when you have your snow pen, you don't need to be doing this because it's going to basically come out like a flood. So here I am with a new snow pen, and I'm going to crack this one open because obviously the one that I just had is out of ink. And I'm showing you this so that you know the difference between what it's like to be out of ink with a snow pen and what it's like to have a brand new snow pen and be full of ink. You'll be really careful you don't flood your paper like I just did. So I'm showing you that for a purpose. I want you to see how easy it is that when you start priming this pump for it to really come flooding out. So what you can do is go ahead and use that. Just paint it right on to whatever it is that you want to have your puffy paint on. You take your heat tool, your heat embossing tool, and you let it puff up. You don't want to burn it, so be really careful because if you burn it, it's going to turn yellow. And I'm trying not to cover the entire snowflake. I'm just trying to paint a little bit on each snowflake. Then I'm taking my tweezers and holding my snowflakes so that I don't burn my fingers because this heat gun is super hot. And I just repeat the process. And I'm not sure how many snowflakes I'm going to use on my card, but I know that I'm going to use more than one. So I'm just doing a couple here just to give you an idea of what it looks like. And here's the snow, like the snowballs that are in a pile. And there I just blew all of my snowflakes everywhere with my heat gun. So I didn't mean to do that, but the snow looks really great. Now we're just going to pull everything together here. I'm going to grab my card base and show you where I'm going to lay everything so that it just needs to be glued down. And I'm just using art glitter glue. It does a really good job. And it gives you just a real little bit of time that you can adjust if you're crooked. Not a lot of time, but just a little bit. I think both of these snowmen look so cute. I'm in love with this set. And then up in the top corner, I'm putting some snowflakes. And then here at the bottom, I'm putting another pile of snowballs. And then up the other corner, I'm putting a snowflake. So I think altogether, it looks really, really sweet. It just reminds you of a picture frame with all the dimension and everything. I just think it turned out great. And I'm going to adhere it to a card base. I have a black card base, which I'm reaching for here. Sorry about the shadows there. And I'm just going to use glue to adhere this, and it sticks very well. I don't have any trouble with it popping off or anything, and it's not heavy anyways. It's just foam and some seed beads and some glitter and some sequins, and it doesn't weigh anything. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Again, make sure you check out the description box for all the directions in case you didn't catch what I was saying you needed to do in order to qualify for the prize. I want to wish everybody luck in winning my prize, which is going to be a great prize. And I'm also going to include this card to my winner. Thanks again, everybody. Oh, and one last thing I forgot to say. Thanks a lot to Catherine Pooler for joining our FSC group on Facebook and for joining in on our first Stamp Wars. It was so great to have you. Take care. Bye bye.